I don't know how to start this one without offending people.
What?
I want to share with you one of the biggest frustrations I have as a recruiter. The best developers have the worst CVs. And I get it. If you're really good at your job, you probably don't need a CV. Why now? If you're really good at your job, you don't need a CV to get a new job. Probably you got your last job through a referral, your old boss hired you again, you were recommended, you've got good testimonials, you might have good code samples. But having a bad CV is just an unnecessary problem. Writing a good CV is easy. You can do it in 15 minutes. The biggest frustration I have is I'm not the best person to communicate your skills and your experience. That's you. So do it. 15 minutes, I want to give you a quick rundown on my laptop right now of what a good CV looks like and what a bad CV looks like. Of course, you've got to start with all of your contact information. That goes without saying. Personal statement, keep it short. Use that to communicate either something personal about you that's interesting, or what is more valuable in your personal statement is to communicate your coding ethics or your coding attitudes. So you might, if you are someone that's really driven by quality, talk about when you've improved test coverage, or talk about when you've scaled a system without sacrificing quality and how you did it. I like to see someone's educational history at the top of their profile, but this bit doesn't really matter. You can put that at the top or you can put that at the bottom. Spoken languages, this could be a game changer. So if you speak fluent German, I would have that at the top. And if you've got any other language skills, it's pretty useful, so put that at the top of your CV. You could have some kind of technical skill summary in there, so that's just a snapshot of all the different programming languages, all the frameworks and tools that you've used. Most people do this anyway. Whether that goes at the start or the end doesn't really matter. The biggest gripe I have is this part, the employment history of your CV. That is the most important part. And so often, people will just list either technologies that they've used, or they'll talk about the company that they work for and put their job title in. You need to use this to communicate exactly what you've done, what tools you did to achieve your project or achieve your objectives, and a summary of what your responsibilities are. That's what we're interested in. So this is how I like to see a CV written. Name of the employer, the dates that you worked there, month to month, not year to year, and definitely not day to day. Your exact job title, and if you want, the location of where that business was based. Keep the introduction of who that business is short. It's interesting, but it's not you, so we don't care too much. One line, e-commerce company, biggest in the world, blah, 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 whatever it might be. The next paragraph is the important part. So this is a paragraph where you're going to be explaining your core duties, your core responsibilities, what projects you worked on, what was your objective in that role, your daily duties. What did a normal day look like for you? What were your responsibilities? Are you coding all day long, or are you involved in code reviews, Scrum meetings, requirement gathering? Is there anything else that you did on a daily basis or a weekly basis that would be useful to another company? And then I also really like to see some kind of achievement or a proud moment in your employment history where you can say, I worked for that company, I was there for 2 years, and when I left, they were in a much better shape than when I joined them because, and you've got something in there. And finally, a short technology summary. And this is useful because in your technical skill summary, in another part of your CV, I can start to see exactly where you applied that experience. So if I see React.js in your skill summary, but you've only applied it in one position that you worked at for 3 months, it helps me or a hiring manager evaluate how competent you might be in that particular tool. Now I know these frameworks, they're just tools, they're all suitable for different kind of jobs, but from a CV we still want to see where you've applied them and how. And I would do that for every single employment entry you have. If you're a freelancer with 100 projects on your CV, maybe only do that for your most recent. But if you're a permanent employee with maybe 5 or 6 employment entries, that much information in every single one is useful. That's what you should have in there. It doesn't need to be long, you can keep it short, and ideally your CV will still only finish at 2, maybe 3 pages long. So I've got a template that I use for anyone that's creating a new CV, and I'm happy to distribute that to anyone that wants it. So if you just comment below the video and ask me for it, I'll happily send it to you. Send me a connection request on LinkedIn, send me an email, and I'll send it back to you too. Either way is good for me.